All right, White Boy Radio coming at you from Front Porch Lanai. A little bit more of a serious video on this one. Spoke about it on the Benny Live. This one we're going to dig into a little bit of addiction, man. I'm going to tell y'all a story about something that happened to me. Now, whether you can relate to this or not, I do know there's some subscribers out there that have people addicted to stuff and their family. And or if you're going through it yourself, man, the goal of this one is hopefully I can reach just one person out there that's going through this very subject. Now, I wanted to wait until I hit about 15K to let this one go. Every now and then with my channel here, when I get to a certain amount of subs, I try to let a deeper personal video go. I gave you the interview with Mom Dukes a while back. I think that was with 10,000, and I was hoping to get to 15,000. But because there's another YouTuber going through something, or at least that's what the word is. Whether it's true or not, regardless, I believe it is. So I just want to go ahead and give y'all this story, man. Enough of that. So look, addiction, man, is a very tough subject to hit. But I did die before, twice. I'll be talking about this the first time I died in this video. And think about what I just said. I said when I died, the first time I died. That's not normal because drugs is so abnormal. It's so difficult to talk about. It's a very serious subject. There's no getting through to somebody. It's truly on the individual and the inner strength and will that they have to get on their knees and pray for help, something bigger than they are, because it was them themselves that got them there, just like it was with myself. Now, I just got out of prison, and like most guys, when they get out of prison, I went back with my ex. I tried to pick the pieces up of my life and put them back together, which was probably the dumbest thing that you can do because with this instance, I left, using. And what do you think my woman at the time was doing when I left? She didn't just sporadically decide to get sober when I was in there. But, as a man, you go back to what you know. You go back to your comfort zone. You go back to who you're with. It's just easier, and it makes you feel more, there's something inside you that more complete, I guess. And what I did is I got back with her, and I was back on my feet, and I was actually doing good by myself. I just got out of prison, and I was renting on a little efficiency, just very small for myself in Hollywood, Florida. It was an efficiency that my boss had, and I went back to this chick, and like I said, she didn't pick the pieces up when I went out in the inside. And not only that, I got to hear a lot of the stories from my friends and stuff coming forward to me about the things that she was doing when I was inside, and it was really eating me up, and I was feeling some type of way about it. And when I got with this chick, slowly but surely, the streets got reintroduced to me. I started, messing off with her and stuff like that. And look, man, just a little bit of time that I went. For this time, I was gone 3 years. But stuff just took a change where what I was using pills and stuff. It adapted. There's no longer laws and restrictions were put on to get these pills so easily. So, there was other stuff, street stuff that was going on in replacement of what I was using. Everybody has their own pick when it comes to drugs. Some people like uppers and downers and this and that. Mine was always opiates. So it's weird how things happen because, it feels like the opiates that I was using when I went in, they got replaced with this synthetic garbage that is killing everybody. And the only reason people were doing the synthetic garbage is because of the laws that were set forth for, these drugs that I were using, which were pharmaceutical drugs. And to be quite honest with you, I don't want anybody to use any type of drugs. That would be my most important message. But man, if you are going through that and you are using, if you have to do it, if we're going to be real about it, and use pharmaceuticals. Don't use the street shit. Don't use any of them. Don't use any of them. But if I'm being a realist here, at least the pharmaceutical stuff, it's made by a pharmacy, by it's sold in Walgreens. You know exactly how many milligrams you're going to get, this and that. Again, don't use any of them. But if you're in this predicament, at least use the safer stuff. Because what had happened was I was with this chick for some time. Like I tell you, she slowly got introduced back to me, and the stories were true that were getting told to me as my friends were coming forward. This chick was, messing around with a lot of dudes when I was in there and all type of stuff. And I was just being like a sucker for love at the time. I was just lost, just trying to put my life back together. And what ended up happening is one time that we had broke up with each other, I was real down on myself, and I was just really down on myself. So I had just got paid, and I was with this guy and this chick, Lindsay, that I know. And this chick, Lindsay, was like a super junkie. Okay, great person, just never could really get it together. And what I'm telling you this is because she's been around people who have overdosed many times. So we got some stuff, it was some dirty heroin or whatever. Did it, and once I did it, no, I'm sorry, let me rewind. We got a couple different things, and I mixed them all up. And when I did it, I immediately nodded off. And I don't even really remember nodding off. I just remember doing it. And I went out. I was dead. They told me, the guy and the girl told me that my face and was blue, like turning blue. I was dead. And this next part is very important for many reasons. Thank God I was with two people that were deep into addiction, because they've been around this before, and we had just got the stuff. So what they did next is, when I fell out, they rushed back to the hood, and they literally bought crack really fast. They hit it, called the guy, they got crack. They blew crack smoke in my face. I'm out for the count. I'm dead. They blew crack in my face, okay? And it whatever's in that shit revived me, okay? It woke me up. But keep in mind, from me falling out and I'm out of there, to the time they go to the hood, there's like no oxygen going to my brain. When people overdose off drugs, and this is what happened with one of my family members. What happens is, the reason that you die is the oxygen is getting cut off to your brain. Now, I've asked them repeatedly. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've asked them, how long was I out? How long was I out? How long was I out? And they're like, I don't know, man, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And when I did not out, I don't know if I was dead then, but I was out of there. I was out of there. I was out of there. I remember when they blew the crack in my face, I just like woke up coming out of like a deep sleep. And I remember, like, I'll never forget the look that was on both those individuals' face. When I came to, I was slumped over. When I came to, I was like, what happened? And both of them were like they were amazed at the friggin' medical procedure that they just pulled off. Not really, but really. They were amazed, and they were weird. They were weird. I was like, what happened? What happened? And they're just like, finally, the dude, like, you just died, dude. We just brought you back. It was crazy as hell. Now, I want to say this next part because it's very important. This is for the grandmas and the moms out there that have people in their family that are going through addiction. Because just like if you watch the interview with my mom, it's not always, you could have a nice home. You could do a good job at parenting. You could have done nothing wrong as a parental figure. But when a person is using drugs and they've made that choice, everything that you tried to teach them, bring them up on, that's out the window. And a lot of moms and grandmas beat themselves up because of this, okay? So this is what I want to tell these people, okay? if you're going through that in your family. That did not stop me in my addiction. One would think that this freaking story I'm telling you will be enough to get scared straight. It doesn't work like that. That is not how addiction works. That didn't stop me. It didn't phase me. It didn't slow me down. I kept going. I kept going. What actually helped me was getting a little bit older and people, places, and things. People, places, and things. This happened because I was down about a breakup and this and that. I finally had a couple people in my life that were telling me, hey man, you are better than this. You are selling yourself short. Leave that chick alone, this and that. And don't get it wrong, people have been telling me this for years. But after, at this point in my life, I had set myself around with a few people that I respected, looked up to, and they saw me kind of slipping. They knew me, I'm getting out of prison, I'm getting my stuff together, I'm doing good, I'm doing right. And then they see me slowly take a downfall. So they kind of caught me on the downfall before I hit, at the bottom. And I actually listened to them. And I actually just cut that person off. Because what happens is, toxic relationships, which is what happened here, is a big, big, big thing in addiction. It really is. I happen to think, in my opinion, I happen to think that that's a main reason why a lot of people overdose. I don't want to say it's the only reason because, of course, there's a lot of accidental overdose with the stuff on the streets now with the border wide open. But I do think that toxic relationships have they're right up there with maybe accidental overdoses and whatever have you. Some people do it on purpose. For the ones that don't know, it's called a hot shot. What a hot shot is purposely doing too much to just get it over with. And in a sense, maybe that's what I did that day, in a sense, because I knew when we got the stuff, my tolerance, and I knew I was trying to numb myself. I was trying to get away. And boy, oh boy, did I get away almost all the way. But, looking back, it was stupid. Me being so depressed and not being able to pick myself up over a relationship and not just get my stuff together and figure it out and just, find my worth. I was willing to throw it all away and pay for it. I paid for this. I literally paid for this occurrence, okay, out of my own wallet. This is what addiction is. Addiction is a very hard thing to explain. Addiction is a very hard thing to talk about. A lot of people have similar stories to what I'm about to tell you, and there's people that maybe haven't gone down that road that are so blind to addiction, but they have family members in their family, and they just get so frustrated with these family members. Okay, for you, I can resonate with you because I as well have people like that in my family, and they looked at me like this. This is why I'm telling you that it's got nothing to do with you, the family member, personally. It's got everything to do with the person that's using the drugs. And it's very important that you know that. It's just very important that you know that. Don't ever give up on somebody who's using drugs, deep in addiction. You may talk to him 100 times and think that it goes in one ear, not the other. I promise you, if you word it right and say it intimately, emotionally, and make him feel it, her feel it, what you're saying, they'll take in, even if they're high as a kite. Look, it happened to me. Here it is, man, I died. And I'm talking about a lot of years that I used. And it wasn't far from this time now that I'm explaining that this happened again. Okay. And maybe I'll do a second video about that because that was a way different experience, way different. What a wild ride when I died for the second time. Ended up in the hospital, all types of stuff. We'll talk about it here coming up. I'll do a video on it. I want to see how this plays out with this video here and see the response that I get, the comments, the interaction, the engagement, and we'll decide. It's a very personal subject here. But for the people who are going through this, for people who have family members, never give up on these people. It is possible to get out of that mental cycle and that ridiculous way of thinking. It is straight insanity, just what they say. Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result is literally the definition of insanity. And it can be painful as somebody to watch your family member or friend or loved one go through this, but there is hope. Look, I'm not perfect, but I don't have these days anymore. They're not even a thought in my mind. When I made my decision to separate myself from certain people and this and that, what happens is time goes by and you're not, I'm not buying it. I'm not dipping in my wallet to get it. I'm not around the people that have it. And, you know, later in your days, you will be around people that have it. And then the weird part about it is they will offer it to you for free. And it's just when, from my experience when this happened, I would get so mad I'd want to fight this person because they're trying to put it back in my life because it was such a hill I had to climb to get over it, and it just goes like that. I'm not a perfect person, but I did change my way of thinking, and people, places, and things is a huge factor in this topic of addiction. Another huge thing is support in groups. For most people, they go to AA or NA, and I have nothing against that. For the ones, if that works for you, then it works for you. I'll never down it. But me personally, man, sometimes you just have to find God again. For myself, I always had faith as a person, but once you get in this cycle of thinking and you're in this wrath of addiction, you forget to pray. You forget about God. And think about what I just said. That is crazy. You should never do that. This is the truth. And even in these programs, NA, the main points and stipulations are recognize that you have a problem, admit it, and find a higher power, find God. So for me, I tried the programs, but they just weren't my thing. I didn't like them. I don't trust people. So it wasn't hard for me to find God again. God was just taking second place in my life. And that is a horrible thing to ever say, but this is true. Now he is first place in my life. I'm not a perfect Christian. I'm not a perfect person, but I hope this video can help people who are going through this thing. If I wasn't around these people, in a weird way, if I wasn't around these people that day, well, for one, I wouldn't have overdosed. I wouldn't have got the stuff. Okay. But for two, they knew what to do here. And I don't know how many times each one of them did that. I don't know how many, I don't know, but they knew what to do when the time was there. The second time that this happened to me, again, I'll get into it in a separate video. Somebody did not know what to do. And luckily, I had enough time for the ambulance to come and stuff like this. But it took that many times for Matt to get it right. Some people aren't that lucky. Some people don't have that much time. And if this is part of your situation, if you're watching this video, I feel your pain. I really do, because I have a family member that has passed, and they didn't get that lucky like I did. It is addiction is one of the most hardest things to talk about because it's so frustrating to not just give people a simple answer. And this goes, many conversations through my mom, through my addiction. I couldn't just give her the simple answer that she's looking for because everybody's different. And if you don't understand it or you haven't gone through it, then it's really far out to you. But this was when White Boy died, man. Leave it in the comments. If you're going through an addiction and you need help, you need someone to talk to, please reach out to me. If literally, if you need a help, I'll do that for you just because I have to. All right. But if you're really into addiction, I really hope you find this video, man. I could not be here today. I could be dead. And it would have been over nothing. Just a dumb, bad decision. And that is really what addiction is all in itself. Until the next one, it's White Boy Radio. Much love, much respect, and until the next one.
I care less about that attorney and whatever he feels and thinks about. That family has ignored phone calls. Like they used to live.